Fischer et al. Candidate Sermon 1962 is another example of a famous Fischer endgame, but okay, here it more looks like an Anderson endgame as black's knight seems to be better than the bishop, Bobby's bishop. But okay, what did Bobby do with white? If white is nothing, then the position is statically better for Tal, and then black would be winning if white just shifts his pieces back and forth. So Bobby's rook cd1 was the right decision to inject dynamics into the position. Okay, Tal took the pawn, and now it's more or less balanced as white has enough compensation, but not more. Well, okay, Bobby was probably quite happy with this transformation. And this time he has a dark squared bishop, but okay, nevertheless it's a Fischer endgame. Yeah, of course, no rook exchange. Chistikov and Marine suggest now that rook c5 is the best defense. And yeah, this should be sufficient to draw. I agree. But knight f6 is also playable. What now? Typical restriction method, f3 taking away important squares from black's knight. And here comes the critical moment. What does Kasparov suggest for black? Activate the knight. Knight b6, knight c4, and Kasparov thinks that black can defend, and this should be right. Here black is better coordinated, and his counterplay on the queen side is always there. While in the game, Tal somehow miscalculated. e3, of course, the important winning potential must be preserved, and now Tal moved his rook to e6, but this is too passive. Nevertheless, here he had a last chance. Knight f8 is completely too passive. Knight c5 is the last chance to fight, and here white would be better, but yeah, well, white is better, and then there are only two results: white wins or it's a draw. White has good chances, but it's not as clear as in the game. In the game, after knight f8, rook e6, white is too active. King h6, everybody is coming from everywhere into Tal's camp. This the knight doesn't like at all. And yeah, and here comes another star move by Bobby, a typical endgame weapon, often very deadly. Zugzwang. Rook e2. Black, yeah, the knight, black has no move. The knight must protect the g pawn. The rook must protect the knight. The king also has no real move, and yeah, okay, the pawn, the queenside pawn, yeah, it's over. And Zugzwang is often the most deadly weapon of the attacker, such Fischer endgames. So Tal sacrifices that pawn, but it doesn't really stop Bobby's attack. And g4, g5, and the g pawn will win the game. Yeah, there is no sufficient defense anyway. White's long-range pieces coordinate so well. g6 or something else? Of course, g6 would blow it after knight takes. Rook g2, the rook belongs behind the passed pawn, and now it's over. White's g pawn will advance to decide the day. Tal had to sacrifice the exchange. But in such a technical endgame, the rook is of course much stronger than the knight. Body check, forcing the king to the 8th rank. Knight check, shadow domination. Game over. An impressive performance by Bobby. And this time it was the dark squared bishop, and I like the rook moves especially. In this moment, rook cd1 to go out of the static bind and to dynamize the position to add dynamic potential. Very important. Bobby had a very good feel for this. This is one of the reasons why he was so strong with Rook and Bishop against Rook and Knight. And of course, in this moment, the deadly endgame weapon, Zugzwang, which destroyed Tal's fortress-like setup.